So greetings from Pennsylvania once again. We're back here in Michaux State Forest to visit another CCC camp. It's part of our series to get to as many of these CCC camps as possible. Yeah, we're at what's known as Camp Michaux. I've been here before a number of times, but I focused more on the World War II history of this place. After its CCC days, it became a secret interrogation camp during World War II. Might talk just a little bit about that in this video, but here this morning, which by the way, this is what, July 10th, Thursday morning, kind of a warm and muggy morning. We're going to focus more on the CCC history in this video. Yeah, so this is Michaux Road. That takes you down to Route 233, and then just that way is Pine Grove Furnace State Park. If you continue up this way, that'll take you up to Ridge Road. There's some parking here on Bunker Hill Road. I think the official CCC sign is up that way just a little bit. But yeah, this whole area is full of ruins back here. No more buildings, but there are some neat stuff back here, like a fountain built by the CCC and kinds of things like that. They do have some history over here. This is more, yeah, they mentioned this is the site of the Pine Grove Furnace Prisoner of War Interrogation Camp, 43 to 45. Yeah, it's talked about being a secret place. But down here, the Civilian Conservation Corps operated Camp S-51-PA here from 1933 to 1942. Following the war, it became a church camp, Michaux, and then, yeah. I think originally it was a farm, too. Yeah, this place has an interesting history. It started out as a farm, then it became a CCC camp, then it became a secret World War II interrogation camp, and then it became a church camp. Now it's just out here in the middle of Michaux State Forest. It was kind of forgotten at one point, and over the years, it was kind of rediscovered, and every time I'm here it's been cleared out more trails, more signage, just talking about what this place was and its history. There's some more signage here. This is all new. Yeah, right there's Pine Grove Furnace. I came up here. There's the site. Yeah. Enjoy but do not destroy. Yeah, no metal detecting and stuff like that. Alright, I think we'll come back down here in a moment, but I want to look, I think up here is the CCC historical sign, if I remember correctly. Yeah, right here it is. They all look the same. They have a similar look. Civilian Conservation Corps, site of Camp S-51, 1933 to 41. Yeah, their sign says 42, and that's the way it is with these dates sometimes. They're kind of all over the place. So this is one of the first CCC camps. That's the lower number, 59. Because it was similar to many others, you know. Because their first job when they came here was to build the buildings. When they came here, there was no buildings. It was basically like a tent camp at first. I think that's the way another one we did earlier too. They had built all the barracks and all the buildings, and then they could move into them. And then they worked on other projects, like this road here, Michaux Road, they built. And the other forest roads. They replanted the forests here. Just worked on all kinds of other stuff. They worked on building Pine Grove Furnace State Park as well. It's all kinds of projects. And we're back down here. Let's take a walk up through here. They just cleared out a lot more too. Like every time we come here, it's more cleared out. You can just see all kinds of remnants of the work they did here. Yeah, right off the bat there are some ruins. I think this is where the headquarters were, like the office building. You see the steps going up there. That's probably like the chimney right there. You'll notice that there's also, all the sites are numbered. There's a reason for that. So some time ago, I was given a self-guided like little tour pamphlet for this place. I think it was the last time I was here, I made a video on that. And the numbers back here, they told you what each site was and everything like that. I think you can go online and look at that too. But where is that pamphlet? Where is that little booklet? That's a good question. I looked at my bookshelf probably like 10 times through my books looking for it. I have no idea where it is. So, but we'll do without it. I mean, you can look up online too. I think if you just type in Camp Michaux. Anyway, I'm not gonna. I don't know. I don't know if I let someone borrow that book or what, because it should be on my bookshelf. Bugs are biting, but I don't know where it is. But we'll just let it go. We'll be okay. I'm not gonna look at every ruin here. A lot of stuff here is World War II related too. There's even graffiti from World War II from German soldiers who stayed here. But like I said, we're gonna kind of focus on the CCC stuff. But it's a cool place to explore. You can see like the old pavement going through here. Oh, I think this is the, is this the CCC marker? Or just, I think that's what this is. Or just for the World War II. Oh man. Yeah, in the book they have this all cleared up. You can read it. There's writing on here. Oh man. Yeah, I can't. Maybe I can find a picture of it online. That's what I might have to do. But yeah, there's some writing on here. It's just hard to see. Yeah, I just forget if that had the dates. It has like the name and dates on there. I forget if it's for the CCC camp or for the World War II camp. Anyway, the histories get a little bit mingled here. But everywhere you look, there's foundations and concrete pads and stuff. Here's a wall. Out there's a concrete pad. Down there's one. One of those down there was the incinerator. There's like little concrete columns for other foundations. A lot of the barracks were up this way. They built a fountain. The CCC fountain is up here somewhere. I don't think it's, yeah, I think it's up this way a little bit more. And where the flagpole went. Yeah, here's some more foundations in here. There's trails throughout here going to all the different foundations. A sidewalk up here, which I feel like they uncovered since last time I was here. I don't remember seeing that. I think I see it up here, the CCC fountain. Yeah, yeah, this is it. Probably my favorite thing here to see, because they built it, the CCC boys. No water in it these days, but yeah. Check this out, it used to be water in here, be a fountain. I guess maybe it poured out the top. But in the middle there, that's a slag, that almost that bluish purplish colored rock. That's slag from the Pine Grove iron furnace. They even have it in here too. That's cool. I suppose there's some kind of plaque on there that said something, but yeah, there's the pipe work. So cool fountain built by them. Yeah. Yeah, so some of these CCC camps we visit will have nothing left. I think the last one we visited, was it Camp 126? Bugs are biting me. There's really nothing left. But here, there's some stuff left. Probably largely because it was used during World War II and it was a church camp later, so this area got kind of preserved. And it was forgotten for a while, but, you know, but yeah. Cool to see stuff like this. I just like it. I think it just shows a lot of character too. It's not just a, I mean, you can see it's lined with concrete on the inside, so they could have just left it that way, but they added all this rock, like a lot of quartz, like I said, that slag from the iron furnace. Just added a lot of character to it. Makes it look really cool. Like I said, you just don't really see that a whole lot these days. They would just make a basic concrete thing and let it go at that, but yeah. Beautiful structure. You know, like most of the other camps, you know, the boys, so the young men that came here had nothing. Like I said, a lot of you comment about that too. You have stories of, you know, grandparents and stuff, grandfathers and great-grandparents, like, came to these camps and showed up in like almost no clothing, just threadbare clothing, and they got clothes here. I was researching this one too. We talked about the other one too, how a lot of them received, you know, their high school education here. They got their diploma from going to these camps, because that's something they never did when they were younger. They just received so many opportunities at these camps. You know, not all the guys, not all the young men enjoyed working at these camps. That's some of the messages I got from you too, but some of them did. You know, some of them appreciate it more than others. I think maybe it depends on what your situation was, things like that. I mean, on a day like it's hot today. It's not terribly hot as it has been. Today will be just a little bit cooler, but it's hot and muggy and buggy. You know, they had to work out all day in these conditions, and even before they had the actual barracks, you had to live in tents, just kind of muggy conditions. So I can understand that might get a little bit old after a while too, but a lot of them saw it as an opportunity. They're getting fed 3 regular meals a day. A lot of them too gained a lot of weight the first couple of weeks working here because they were actually eating regular nutritious meals. This was the Great Depression, remember, you know, some of these were coming from homes that had nothing. On our crack too, like I said, they earned about $30 a month. I think I was saying that all that money went home. I think about 20 people corrected me on that. I think about $25 of it went home, and they kept like $5 or so to, you know, to spend for themselves. So yeah, but most of it, well, a lot of it went home. Yeah, just another look at the fountain there. But all around here, there's foundations. This might have been one of the guard tower foundation posts here. You know, there's another foundation all over the place here. Like I said, a lot of the stuff that's left today is from World War II era stuff too. It gets mixed in with all the CCC stuff. Oh, is this the arrow? Yeah. I wonder if this was the flag. Well, anyway, there's all kinds of things here. But you can see they're keeping it trimmed now too more than when it was here last time. Cleaning things up a little bit more. But yeah, wow. You can see this avenue of trees through here. Those were all planted by the CCC. Yeah, and in that first video in this series, I made we talked a little bit about, you know, should the CCC be restarted. I got a ton of comments from that, which I appreciate. A lot of you had interesting things to say. Some of you were for it, some of you were against it, but the vast majority were still had how shall we say, educated things to say. I had a few nasty comments about it, but that's the way it is on YouTube. But mostly, whether you were for that idea or not, all you had brought up good points. I might talk about those different points in the future, but you had a lot to say. I appreciate that. It's an interesting topic. Should the CCC be restarted? But I think the one main thing that someone mentioned is that was a different era, a different time, a different era. It was the Great Depression. Things were different than they are today, and that was kind of, yeah, that's true. So if it was restarted, it would still, things would be different though. Anyway, all right, I gotta let that go, or I'd start yapping about that. Like, so maybe in a future episode I will. But yeah. But yeah, just a lot of history here. Just picture, just picture those young guys, the young guys who built this and lined on the outside with these stones, things. I did just notice there's a little hole right in there. I think it's where the water came out right there. Poured down through here. All right, just a little bit of a glare on the camera. I want to show you this picture I found online of the boys, the young men. You can see them there all lined up. Oops, kind of jumped there. Let me get rid of that glare a little bit. Well, that might be a little better there. One guy in white, I wonder who he was. But yeah, all these boys. This is company number 329, I believe. Whoops, I got rid of that. All right, we got it back again. Yeah, just wonder who the guy in white is. Getting bit up by mosquitoes here. All right. Yeah, the mosquitoes are having a chow fest on me there, so I was trying to show you that. Let's walk around a little bit more. Like I said, a lot of the stuff here though is World War II era though, right after the CCC. So yeah, like I said, I know, I'm repeating myself, like they really cleaned things up since last time I was here. It's kind of interesting. Actually, I think right here might have been where the flagpole was from the CCC era. Just off the trail back there. Let's go up this way. I know a lot of the barracks, foundations of the barracks are up here.
Would have been cool if some of the buildings were preserved, but I think when the church camp was abandoned, you know, the place got sold off again and all the stuff was torn down, the buildings. Yeah, just all over the place. There's just random foundations here and there. Oh, there's our fountain over there again. Just trails everywhere. Even a swimming pool here from the church camp era. But I filmed all that in the past too. Oh yeah, here's the star. There's all these things I forgot were here. This is definitely CCC, boys. You can see the quartz and the purple slag from the iron furnace again. That's cool. Yeah. Just tons of foundations everywhere. All kinds of remnants. This might have been one of the barracks, actually, I think. It's one of these longer foundations, concrete on this side, and then these concrete pillars here. Just more ruins, probably for water. Something else here. Oh yeah, actually this might be one of the barracks. See, yeah, this it's all cleared out. There's low foundation over there, and then all these pillars. I think this was one of the barracks, or maybe the mess hall. It was right near the barracks. So cool. Yeah, long and narrow. The two other camps we visited in this series didn't have a whole lot left that we could see. You know, this place has people coming here and volunteering and clearing things away. Some of those other camps might actually have stuff too, you know, underneath all the brush and just, you know, decades of, you know, leaf litter buildup and all kinds of stuff. You might have stuff like this, like that star, that flag holder thing. Just can't see it. And just some more ruins. It looks like another one of the guard tower spots. Let's go this way. Another one of these avenue of trees. Well, there's, see, even there, a little something. You know, if this is stuff that cleared out, like in those other camps that are just kind of in the middle of the woods that haven't cleared out at all. Even here, you can just see like a remnants of a stone-lined path. There could be the stuff there in those. It's just hidden. So that's kind of interesting. But you could spend several hours here just walking around. Maybe more in the autumn or the spring, or even the winter when all the foliage is down. This time of year it's kind of hot and muggy and buggy, but yeah, like I said, they keep clearing it out more and more every time I'm here. Like I said, I've been here in the past. I filmed a much more comprehensive video of what's here to find, even where to find like the World War II graffiti. But like I said, I don't want to focus on that in this video, just more the CCC history, which I didn't really focus on in the other videos. Most people that come here focus on the World War II part of the history, which, to be honest, is the more interesting aspect of this camp. And there's some more stuff there behind me. And up there's the ruins of the old barn back when this was a farm. There used to be much more there, but it collapsed a number of years ago. They do have some signage up there. Real quick, check that out. You can park here too. We're parked I can just barely see the Jeep down there. That was just information for the farm. I thought they had more. I thought there were more signage here. We just talked about the farm that was here. You can see what it used to look like. The barn right there. That's all that's left today. You could oh, they do have some stuff here, a little bit. Yeah, 1700s of farm. State took over the land in 1913 and farming ended in 1920s. Before the civilian CCC acquired 120 acres in 33 to establish Camp S-51-PA. Yeah, that talks about the World War II and the church era. I think I'm going to go down, take one more look at that fountain. To me, that's the highlight of this area. I think it just gives an example of, I feel like I've harped on this before a little bit. Sometimes you see building projects today. Even I mentioned some down near home at Blue Marsh Lake. They did like a bridge replacement for a hiking trail, and it was just a horrible quality. And sorry if you don't want to build it. It was just like no real effort went. I don't know. But you look at that fountain there; it just has character to it. They took a lot of time, and it's still there today. After surviving the World War II era, the church camp era, being abandoned, it's still there in good shape. Like they don't, as the phrase goes, they don't build things like they used to, and that's the truth. To me, it's the CCC boys, they built things. The things they built have character, and they're still last today, a lot of them. And just, yeah, I think we're kind of lacking that these days. Not with everybody, but just in general. Nowadays, it's build it as quickly and cheaply as you can. It only lasts for like 10 years, and you got to rebuild it again. And right up here it is again. I just love this thing. Like I said, I just love the character that it has. I just don't make stuff like this anymore. All these little rocks, the different, quartz pieces. Here's a super nice shiny piece of quartz, like all the different pieces of slag. This is stuff that those guys picked and found, and some guy took that piece of quartz or slag and shoved it in there into the concrete or to the masonry there. Same with this one. Somebody pushed it in there, and it's still here today. This was probably kind of formed with their own hands here. Just kind of mounted up a little bit and stuff. But yeah. And they had like the little upright pieces, sticking those little bits of slag here and there. Which are actually quite beautiful to see all the different patterns and the swirls in it. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, there's just another cool shot of it. But I'll try to find that, I'll try to post a link below in the description to that other video where I was here, where I did a much more thorough search for all the different foundations and what they were and stuff. Like I'm saying, that's not really the purpose of this video. There's a few things I wanted to see, like the fountain, I found the star, and some other things like that. Like I said, there's a little pamphlet you can buy too. It's like a self-guided tour, which I have, I just don't know where it is. But yeah, I just love that fountain though. Alright, but I'm gonna get out of here. It's heating up, the bugs are sucking me dry. Glasses are fogging up. That's the way it is. It's July. It's hot. It's muggy, buggy. It's the way it is. If you do come here, like I said, maybe do in the spring or fall or winter on a milder day. Alright, but just neat history here. And just neat to see the other remnants too, all over the place. I think it's neat that they're clearing the stuff out and uncovering it bit by bit, more and more. Every time I come here, there's more and more uncovered. And like I said, there's probably some of the other sites we have visited and will visit. More than likely, there's more remnants there. It's just, like I said, just buried. No one's taking the time to find them. Maybe someday they will. But thanks for joining me on this video, another CCC video. Like I said, I think we'll title this, They Don't Make Them Like They Used To. If you can think of examples of yourself, of things like that on that topic, go ahead and comment down below. Maybe some old structures that you're familiar with, that you like, that have that, like that character that I'm talking about, like that personalized character. The people that build it add that certain flair to it, or that, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm rambling. So I'm gonna head off to another location here in Michaux State Forest. This past spring there were several forest fires here The biggest one was in Thompson Hollow. There's a road that goes through there, a dirt road. I'm gonna see if we can access that road, drive through, and see the aftermath of that forest fire. It sounds like a cool thing to do on a hot day. All right, thanks for coming along. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one.